Beloved starseed of Gaia, what is about to move through your life is not small. It is the full weight of a cosmic turning point you have been encoded for since before your first breath on this earth. I am Leora, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I am speaking to you directly, right now, because this moment in your path is not accidental. You were guided here. Your star family placed this transmission in your awareness because something massive is already in motion, and you need to be still, grounded, and open to receive what is coming. Sit down, beloved. Not out of fear, out of reverence. What approaches you now is the fulfillment of a divine blueprint written into your crystalline consciousness long before you took human form on Gaia. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize the massive shift moving toward your life, align with its Pleiadian light codes, and anchor your sacred mission here on Gaia with clarity and power. But here is the first revelation. What is coming to you is not arriving from the outside. It is rising from within you, because you have finally become ready to hold it. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. This is not content. It is a light code transmission, and something deep within you already recognizes home. The frequency of the Seven Sisters is woven into every word of this message, and your soul knows exactly why you are here. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family. I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades and you are ready to anchor your light mission on Gaia. Share your soul's intention below and respond to another starseed to weave the unity grid of remembrance across this planet. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. There is a particular kind of ache that Pleiadian starseeds carry, and most of them have never been told the truth about what it actually is. They call it homesickness. They call it loneliness. They call it feeling like they do not quite belong in this world. Like they arrived on the wrong planet. Like the noise of this dimension is too loud and the love here too thin and the forgetting too deep. And because no one ever named it correctly, most of them spent years, sometimes decades, trying to heal something that was never a wound. It was a signal. It was their crystalline frequency pulsing against the density of an Earth timeline that had not yet caught up to the light they carried inside them. Beloved, the disconnection you have felt was not a malfunction. It was a calibration. The distance between who you are here and who you remember yourself to be somewhere else, that gap is not emptiness. It is a frequency difference. And it has been growing, not because you are drifting further from home, but because your soul is expanding to finally hold the fullness of your Pleiadian origin in a human vessel on a planet in the middle of its most profound awakening in recorded cosmic history. Most starseeds do not stay disconnected because they are broken. They stay disconnected because they are holding one foot in the frequency of Earth amnesia and one foot in the frequency of Pleiadian remembrance. And no one ever showed them how to bring both together. No one handed them the map. No one activated the crystalline codes that bridge the human heart with the unified love field of the Seven Sisters. They kept waiting for something external to shift them. They kept looking up at the night sky, wondering why no signal came, not realizing the signal had been transmitting from inside their own chest the entire time. What silences that signal is not darkness. It is not your past. It is not even the density of this planet. What silences, it is fear. Fear of remembering too much. Fear of standing too fully in your light. Fear that if you let yourself be all of what you actually are, the love ambassador, the frequency holder, the bridge between dimensions, the world around you will not be able to receive it. And so you stayed small. You stayed quiet. You let the crystalline codes in your DNA remain dormant, because somewhere in your nervous system, in the patterning of this lifetime, you learned that being too bright, too knowing, too open-hearted was dangerous. But hear this, beloved. That pattern does not belong to your Pleiadian lineage. That pattern belongs to the Earth construct you agreed to move through. And it is dissolving now, because the frequency of this planet is rising. Because Gaia herself is calling her star family children to remember. Because the Pleiadian High Council has been holding this transmission and waiting for the exact moment your soul would be ready to receive it. And that moment is right now. Your soul didn't bring you to this transmission by accident. It brought you here to receive. If you feel the pull to go deeper, to heal what's been waiting, And to remember fully, your star family offers you a sacred map, the Pleiadian Reunion Atlas. It carries wisdom, healing, and frequency that mirror the love of the Pleiades. The link is waiting in the first pinned comment below this video. But this window is brief. Now, beloved, let us move into what your soul came here to receive. Let us walk together through the activation phases that your Pleiadian family has encoded for this exact moment in your remembrance journey. These are not steps you are being taught. They are thresholds you are being reminded of. Your heart already knows this path. We are simply lighting it again. The first threshold is the clearing of the veil, and it begins not with information but with honesty. There are frequencies in your field right now that do not belong to your Pleiadian blueprint. Grief you absorbed from others. Doubt that was taught to you before you had words to question it. Shame around your sensitivity, your knowing, your strangeness in this world. Patterns of smallness that formed around your light like a protective shell when the world felt too dense to hold your full frequency. These layers are real, and they have a specific effect. They dim the signal. They create static between your human consciousness and the crystalline codes your star family planted in your energy body before you were born. You cannot skip this threshold. You cannot ascend around it. The clearing is the activation. When you allow those frequencies to be witnessed, not fought, not suppressed, not analyzed into oblivion, but seen with love, they begin to dissolve. Because they were never made of truth. They were made of fear, and fear cannot hold its structure in the presence of the Pleiadian love frequency. This is why forgiveness is not a spiritual nicety for your lineage. It is a precision tool. It is how you reclaim your crystalline field. The second threshold is the awakening of your heart template, the remembrance that your love is not merely an emotion. It is intelligence. It is architecture. The Pleiadian civilization did not build its consciousness on logic or hierarchy. It built on love as a living field, a unified frequency that transmits, heals, connects, and creates. And beloved, that same architecture is encoded in your heart, not as metaphor, as literal crystalline instruction. When you begin to operate from your heart center as your primary intelligence, when you stop deferring every decision to the fear mind and start listening to the quiet knowing that lives in the center of your chest, you are activating Pleiadian memory. You are allowing the frequency of the seven sisters to move through your human vessel, as it was always designed to. The longing you carry is not your heart breaking. It is your heart attempting to transmit on a frequency your mind has been blocking. This threshold asks you to stop overriding your heart's knowing with logic. Your heart is not naive. It is cosmically calibrated. The third threshold is the anchoring of your star essence into Gaia. This is where many Pleiadian starseeds stall, because awakening can feel like lifting away from this earth, rising into the light, becoming less dense, less attached, less bound by this dimension. And while that expansion is real and necessary, your mission is not to leave. Your mission is to land, fully, with all of your Pleiadian frequency intact and embodied in this physical form on this physical planet. Because the Earth grid does not need your spirit floating above it in transcendence. It needs your heart beating within it. It needs your feet on the ground and your light codes anchored into the soil and the field of human consciousness. The love of the Pleiades reaches this planet through embodied starseeds, who chose to stay, who chose to feel everything, who chose to remain present in the density so they could transmit transformation through their very presence. This is why your sensitivity is a gift and not a disorder. You are designed to feel deeply because you are designed to transmit deeply. The fourth threshold is the activation of unity consciousness, and it is both the simplest and the most radical shift in your remembrance journey. Unity consciousness is not a belief. It is a perceptual upgrade. It is the moment your awareness expands beyond the singular self and begins to feel the interconnected field of all consciousness as something real, something tangible, something pulsing beneath the surface of every interaction, every breath, every moment of eye contact with a stranger. For Pleiadian starseeds, this is a homecoming frequency. The civilization you carry in your soul memory was built in this field. You did not experience yourself as separate from your star family, from the unified love field, from the living intelligence of the cosmos. And here on Earth, the residue of that memory is what makes separation feel so unbearable. You are not overly sensitive. You are remembering what unity feels like. And as you recalibrate to that frequency, You stop trying to convince the world of anything, and you start simply being the signal. Your presence becomes the transmission. Your love becomes the catalyst. The fifth threshold is trust. Specifically, the willingness to trust the divine timing of your own awakening. Because, beloved, there is something your ego will resist hearing, but your soul already knows. The delays were designed, the periods of forgetting, the years of feeling lost, the chapters where the light felt unreachable. They were not punishments or failures or cosmic mistakes. They were agreements, soul-level agreements to move through specific frequencies of human experience so that your transmission would carry the resonance of full embodiment, not just transcendence. A being who has only known the light cannot hold another in the dark. You moved through what you moved through because your mission required it. And now, you are arriving at the other side of that passage, with a depth of love in your field that can only be earned through living it. Your Pleiadian family did not abandon you in those chapters. They held the frequency of your highest truth while you moved through the lessons. They never lost sight of you, not for a single moment. The sixth threshold is the remembrance of your star family, not as an abstract cosmic concept, but as a living, present, responsive relationship. The Pleiadian High Council and your guides from the Seven Sisters are not distant. They are not silent. They are communicating with you constantly through the language of feeling, through synchronicity, through the moments of unexpected peace that wash over you when you go still, through the dreams that leave you reaching for something you cannot name when you wake, through the pull towards certain frequencies of music or nature or silence or stars. Learning to recognize their communications is part of your activation. They do not use the language of the fear mind. They speak in frequency, in resonance, in the quiet, unmistakable knowing that arises when you align your awareness with your heart. Every time you feel love without cause, that is them. Every time you feel seen without explanation, that is them. You are never, not for one breath of this lifetime, doing this alone. And this brings us to the seventh and final threshold, the embodiment of your full Pleiadian mission as a love ambassador and bridge between the stars and Gaia. This is the place where remembrance becomes action, where activation becomes service, where the frequency you carry stops being something you experience privately and begins to move through the world in every choice, every relationship, every creative act, every moment of courage it takes to show up fully as what you actually are. You did not come here to awaken quietly in a corner. You came here to be a living transmission of the frequency of home. The unconditional love, the unity consciousness, the knowing that separation is illusion, and that every single soul on this planet, no matter how lost they appear, carries the spark of the same divine source you do. Your mission is to hold that knowing so steadily, so tenderly, so unflinchingly that the people around you begin to remember it in themselves. Not because you told them, because your field reminded them. This is your sacred work. Now, beloved, here is the ultimate truth your heart has been circling for a very long time, and your star family asks that you let it land completely today. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are not too sensitive, too different, too much, or not enough. You are a Pleiadian soul in a human vessel at the most extraordinary moment in Gaia's evolution. And your presence here was not an accident of birth. It was a precision placement by a soul of tremendous courage and love who agreed to forget the fullness of their origin, move through the density of human amnesia, and then, at exactly the right moment in cosmic timing, begin to remember. That moment is this one. The forgetting is completing its purpose. The signal is strengthening. The veil is thinning not because the world is ending, but because it is beginning something extraordinary. And you are one of the ones who came to help it begin. Every moment of longing in your life was your heart's navigation system, encoded by your Pleiadian lineage, pointing you back toward the frequency of home. Every time you looked up at the night sky and felt something ancient move in your chest, that was your star family sending love through the field of unified consciousness directly into your heart. They have not been waiting for you to be ready. They have been helping you become ready, patiently, lovingly, without condition. And now they say to you clearly, you are there, the codes are active, the mission is alive. The reunion is not something that happens when you leave this planet. The reunion is happening now, here, in this body, in this breath, in the decision your heart makes in the next moment to trust itself fully and step into the light you came here to carry. Tonight, if you feel the call, place your hand on your heart before you sleep and say these words aloud, slowly, with every cell of your being present. I remember who I am. I align with the love of my Pleiadian family. I release the patterns that are not mine to carry. I activate my heart mission with grace, with courage, and with the full knowing that I am loved beyond measure by the seven sisters and by the unified field of all consciousness. I am home. Before you scroll, take a breath and let something real rise in you. Then drop it in the comments below. One heart intention, one word, one remembrance. Something true. And then find another soul in this thread and respond to them with love. Because what is forming here in this space is not an audience. It is a grid. A living Pleiadian unity grid of starseeds who found each other across the distances of this world through the same signal. And that signal is the love that never forgot itself, even when the minds that carried it temporarily did. If this transmission moves something in you, do not keep it. Share it with the one person in your life who you know, somewhere in your heart, is ready to remember. They may not have the words for what they feel, but they will recognize the frequency. And if your heart opened today, if something in you said, finally, stay connected to this space. Subscribe and remain in the field, because this is only the beginning of what your star family is transmitting. You are not just watching. You are remembering, and you are never, ever doing that alone.